I think most people don't realize how much anger has been suppressed inside them, especially for women, because anger is seen as such a bad emotion to have compared to something like sadness and grief, where there's a lot of compassion and space being held for that. Um, and I noticed that in myself, there's so much shame around anger. Even when I thought I was allowing myself to process anger, I realized I'd been prematurely trying to get myself out of anger, and like my mind would try to talk me out of it, like, oh, but you know, he's hurt too. You should see things from his perspective and you shouldn't be this angry. I'm just talking about this very specific situation that I've been working through, which is bringing up a lot of anger in me. And yeah, the past few days I've had a really deep process with anger where I was like, I think what I need right now is to allow myself to feel the full extent of this anger and really go to the core. And I want to see what would happen if I do that. And it was really, really shocking. So I had such violent imagery in my head and such hateful thoughts about this person that I have this angry process on, to the point where it was like really shocking to me that I had the capacity to imagine that and to go there. And at first it was a little bit scary, like, whoa, this is dark. And there's some resistance to that darkness of like, ooh, is this bad? Is this me? Like, is this okay to have? And then immediately I told myself, okay, no shame, no judgment at all. It's okay that I'm feeling this. It's okay that I'm experiencing this. Let me just hold space for it. And I think that was a very profound turning point for me because, number one, I think I fully integrated an aspect of myself, which is this really deep darkness that, the depth of this anger and what it wants to do. Like, obviously, I'm not going to act on it, but just acknowledging this energy and how strong and how powerful it is, and not making it bad or wrong or shameful, but just seeing it as like this really raw form of energy. And it was liberating to see that aspect of myself, but not reject it and not abandon it, but rather being like, whoa, I see that you're in so much pain that this is the magnitude of the anger and this is the expression of it. And I have so much love and so much compassion for that. At the same time, I recognize this anger is there to protect me. This anger comes from this like eternal scream inside of, I do not allow this treatment. I do not allow this judgment, this negative energy towards me. I do not allow my boundaries to be crossed. And it's this energy of protection, of so fiercely being on my side and being an advocate for myself. And that is really beautiful. That is really needed. The way that it comes out could be more refined and contained and transmuted into a more loving energy, sure. But the core of it comes from love. Like, I love myself. I don't want to see myself suffer and be labeled and be shamed and all of that. So, of course, I'm going to get angry to remind myself, like, hey, this is not acceptable. This is not okay. And this is not who you are. So, I also felt a lot of gratitude for this anger that's coming up. Of like, wow, this is really fighting for me. And thank you for doing that. And then the other thing is, this is going to sound really, really strange, but I think it really expanded my empathy and compassion for the full range of the human spectrum. And what I mean by that is, at the very extreme depth of my anger, where I had all these violent thoughts and imageries come up, I was like, I can understand why some people commit murder. I know this is really a weird and morbid thing to say, but it's like, because I felt that magnitude of anger. Of course, I wouldn't act on it because I have the awareness to, and the conscience to not act on that and just, know that it's just a thought. But I can understand if someone is fully consumed in that energy and they lack the awareness and the conscience and whatever else to stop them from taking the action. I can see why that something like that would happen. And of course, it's not to condone that or saying that it's okay, but in that moment, I'm like, who am I to ever judge these people? Because I have that in me as well, and I think everyone has that in them. Like, that seed of anger is inside of every human because we're all connected and we have access to the same spectrum of all emotions, all feelings, all thoughts. But for most of us, these really extreme dark emotions and thoughts never get activated. But it is still a part of us. And so for me to experience that extreme dark emotions and thoughts made me realize, like, yeah, that is a part of me, and I have no right to judge anyone because I can see clearly that all these darkness is indeed a part of me. But at the same time, I'm okay with that. And I think this is where the really powerful work is. You're not trying to get rid of darkness. You're not trying to fight against it, but you're seeing it, accepting it, and loving it. And that's what really transmuted it, because I really loved myself there. I held myself in it. I gave myself love and compassion and understanding. And soon after that, I just started breaking down and crying and sobbing for many, many hours. And this is what I explained in the last video. Like, the anger is really a protector for the deeper, the more vulnerable parts of ourselves. And so once you allow yourself to walk through the anger to its end, what's beneath the surface that you reach is like the core vulnerability that the anger was trying to protect. And that's what really needs to be healed, actually, because when that's healed, anger no longer has to be there because there's nothing to protect anymore. So yeah, I walked through the anger, and then I got to the really sad little girl underneath, and she was grieving so much, and she was feeling so hurt and feeling so vulnerable. And then, from there, it's a lot easier to walk through that because I have a lot of experience walking through like grief and sadness and all of that. Um, but it was very necessary for me to walk through the anger and to really allow the full extent of the anger to come out. So, yeah, um, if you can feel that you have a lot of repressed anger, I would encourage you to find a safe space, give yourself a container to really express that anger to its full extent. I think it is very healing and it could lead to a huge breakthrough.